You need a first brain before you can build a second one. Hey there, welcome back to my channel. In this video, I'm sharing the second batch of books I read this year. I'll leave a link to the first batch if you're interested. There's 5 in this video and 5 in the last. The first book in this batch is Building a Second Brain, a proven method to organize your digital life and unlock your creative potential by Tiago Forte. I'm probably saying his name wrong. I had to return the book to the library before I could finish the journal spread, so I took pictures of the quotes I wanted to copy and removed my tabs. This is a nonfiction book about creating and maintaining a personal system for knowledge management. He leaves readers with this last bit of advice. Run after your obsessions with everything you have. Just be sure to take notes along the way. In that case, I will be sure to document myself chasing after San from 80s and then my subsequent arrest and incarceration. While I found many of his tips and methods useful, I'm very resistant to going digital. I hate reading on a screen or typing on a phone, but like you guys get me, right? You may be using a digital device to watch my video, but if you're on my channel, you're either probably related to me and feel obligated to watch it, or you have some interest in the analog life. But there are things I can't do with pen and paper, so I do think this book will help me become more mindful on how I organize my digital life. Even developing a system for naming computer documents would be a major help, considering I have file folders named Open This, You Stupid, and Ehehehehe. According to his method, which he calls code, you capture information you need for whatever project or thing you're researching, then you organize it, then you distill it by summarizing your notes, and finally you express yourself by using that information to actually create the thing that you set out to do. Is taking physical notes on a book about digital management odd? I'll leave a link to his blog down below in the description if you're interested in exploring his methods further. He has quite a bit of free content that you can read. Then, after abandoning it for a couple of years, I finally finished Mythology by Edith Hamilton. It's a collection of stories, so not one that needs to be read from beginning to end. This is considered a classic, one that I was assigned in high school. So if you're wanting to learn about Greek and Roman mythology, I would highly recommend it. It's especially a great place to start. She also briefly touches on Norse mythology at the very end, but it's such a short entry, I'm surprised it was even included. Sorry for my big 5 head getting in the way. I'm not used to drawing, and apparently I have to get really close to the page in order to concentrate. I'm too lazy to do all these little things. So, should I just do a black mark? Just make a thick black line?
You can draw a line. I wouldn't make it super thick or anything.
Maybe this is an odd question, but do you have a favorite god or goddess? Back in the day, I would have said Apollo, but now I'm quite partial to Hermes, also Hades, Pan, recently Eris, the goddess of discord and strife. So I filmed this way back in February, and wouldn't you know it, the Sticky Club subscription was perfect for the theme. I'm a bit surprised with myself for using that bottom sticker. Don't look, but she's naked. I don't like naked people. My dog's name is Daenerys, and sometimes we'll call her Eris for short. Eris is the goddess responsible for instigating the Trojan War. In the myth, all the gods except her are invited to a big important wedding, and angry, she shows up anyway and throws a golden apple among the guests with the inscription, "For the fairest." Hera, Athena, and Aphrodite all lay claim to the apple, and to settle the dispute, Zeus orders them to be judged by Paris, who is a prince of Troy. Each goddess then attempts to bribe him. Hera offers to make him a king, Athena promises him wisdom and skill in battle, but because he's a dumb boy, he chooses Aphrodite's gift, which is a pretty lady named Helen. I'd have chosen Athena, but what the hell do I know? Paris then carries off the already married Queen of Sparta, and 1,000 ships are launched to retrieve her. And this was all a lengthy way of saying that my dog is the embodiment of chaos. I was relatively happy with my drawing until I got lazy and didn't want to add all the little details on the wing. So instead, I ended up spending a lot more time trying to fix it and totally failing at it. As per usual, I took a bunch of notes. And it's funny, when I was a kid, I had this free encyclopedia computer program that I would spend hours copying down pages and pages of Greek and Norse mythology notes. Like, this is what I did for fun back then, and it's what I do for fun now. Earlier this year, I read Cal Newport's book, Deep Work, which I included in my last reading journal video. I liked it enough to check out his newest book, Slow Productivity, The Lost Art of Accomplishment Without Burnout. I did prefer this book over his other one, Deep Work. Both of them I got from the library. I'm not sure that I would actually buy a copy. That's only because I usually don't buy nonfiction books unless they're secondhand. If you're going to choose between the two, I would start with Slow Productivity. I think it has a bit more practical advice in it, and it was a quicker read. He defines slow productivity as a philosophy for organizing knowledge work efforts in a sustainable and meaningful manner, and he bases it on 3 principles. 1, do fewer things, which is impossible for me. I don't see how I could do anything less. 2, work at a natural pace. Tectonic plates move faster than me, okay? And 3, obsess over quality. I produce neither quantity nor quality. I appreciate him saying that where you end up is ultimately what matters, not the speed at which you get there. I wanted to be a published author while I was a teenager. When that didn't happen, I felt like a failure. But so long as I was published in my 20s, I could live with myself. That also didn't happen. Now I'll be happy if I get a book out in print before I keel over. However, part of the reason I've taken so long is that I struggle with perfectionism. I don't know how many times I've rewritten my novels. I get to the end of the story and I immediately go back to the beginning to rework it and tweak things. I make progress, but it's so slow. To counter perfectionism, Newport advises to let go of the urge to create a masterpiece and to focus instead on creating something good enough to catch the attention of those whose taste you care about. It's all about progress over perfection. There are quite a few people I know who stretch themselves a bit too thin, who won't read this book, who I'd like to lecture, and I took plenty of notes in order to do that. I wanted a cozy read, so I chose this pretty Virago edition of The Diary of a Provincial Lady by E.M. Delafield. It was initially serialized in a magazine and then published in a novel format in 1930, and it's told in a series of journal entries by the unnamed provincial lady. Most of her challenges are kind of inconsequential. They reflect her upper middle class position and are often lighthearted, but it does seem like her household is always on the brink of collapse and she's just trying to hold it together. Like there's never any money, and the staff are in constant need of delicate handling, especially the volatile cook who's constantly threatening to quit, and the sensitive French governess who she's kind of worried is maybe not the best influence for her children. And worst of all, she's planted the wrong flower bulbs at the wrong time of year. This has, of course, been made known to her by the well-to-do Lady Box, who she can't compete with, but still tries to. I love this book so much, I immediately purchased an older 1930s copy of the sequel called The Provincial Lady Goes Further. As someone who has created a YouTube channel dedicated to journaling, I obviously love that aspect of it. I had really only 2 problems with the book. 1, my middle school French was unhelpful in translating Mademoiselle's dialogue. Je ne sais pas what the hell she was saying. Some footnotes would have been nice. And B, the husband was a total jerk. I mean, I get that he's a product of the times, but he was just completely indifferent to his family. I always like to include a quote in my journal entries, and for this one, I copied down one that made me laugh. The 6-year-old daughter is an especially fun character. November 13th. Interesting but disconcerting train of thought started by prolonged discussion with Vicky as to the existence or otherwise of a locality which she refers to throughout as HEL. Am determined to be a modern parent and assure her that there is not, never has been, and never could be such a place. Vicky maintains that there is, and refers me to the Bible. I become more modern than ever and tell her that theories of eternal punishment were invented to frighten people. Vicky replies indignantly that they don't frighten her in the least. She likes to think about HEL. Feel that deadlock has been reached and can only leave her to her singular method of enjoying herself. Query: are modern children going to revolt against being modern, and if so, what form will reaction of modern parents take? So that gives you kind of an idea of the voice and what the story's like. It's very shorthand, very matter of fact. She has memos and queries throughout, a lot of witty asides, and I just found it really humorous, and I can't wait to read the second book. Lastly, I read The Murder on the Links by Agatha Christie. It's the second book in the Hercule Poirot series, of which there are 33 novels and over 50 short stories. I'm currently reading book 4, and yeah, I'll be finished in no time. Just a heads up, I try not to include outright spoilers in my journal entries, but it's possible there are hints or I might have missed something. So do tread carefully if you're actually reading what I write. I wouldn't recommend it anyway because it's drivel. I'm just doing it for visual flair, so you have something to look at while I ramble. So in this story, the charming detective Poirot, Hercule Poirot, I'm going to call him HP, and his partner Captain Hastings travel to France at the request of a gentleman who believes his life is in danger. They naturally arrive too late. The man's body has been chucked into a nearby golf course, and HP has to solve the case before local investigators and his own incompetent partner muck it all up. I, of course, love the charming mustachioed Belgian detective, but the narrator Hastings is an idiot. He falls in love with every pretty auburn-haired woman he encounters, even when he suspects they've committed murder. It's stupid. I don't know how HP deals with them truly. He does not use his little gray cells. Well, that's it for this batch of books. Please let me know if you've read any of these or if you have any questions. Thank you for watching. Bye!